Awesome. And we'll have some more people join in. Actually, let me mute the ding dong because that is really annoying when we're trying to listen. So, okay, because I know we'll have more people joining us. So, all right. So all of you that have been joining us often here on Wednesdays, it's been really awesome to have you do that. So thank you for doing that. Aimee has been a regular who has come in and just participated and contributed. And we were talking about kvCore one day, and she mentioned that she had just done a speaking event about kvCore. And Aimee, it sounds like you were using kvCore before you even came to EXP, right? Yeah. So she knew of the capabilities, and then she got into EXP and has been able to see some of the additional things here that we have access to. And I think it's sometimes just nice to hear perspectives of other realtors who are using the program on a regular day-to-day basis, and maybe even who have been using it for quite some time, because as we know, any system that we use, at first, we maybe just use it for its basic functionalities, but as we use it longer, we get to kind of uncover other opportunities. And, you know, there's a premise to this is, of course, we've got to time block and take some time to learn and start using it. If we feel like we're really short on time and we're just not going to be able to do it, there are resources within EXP that can help you get things set up, that can help you, you know, get your contacts in. I mean, there's definitely going to be resources. At some point, you have to make the decision to say, either I have the time allotted to make this happen so I can use this tool to the best of its ability to help me grow my business, or somebody else is going to have to help me do it so that I can start using it to, you know, to make it benefit my business. Today, Aimee is just going to kind of come in and share her perspectives around things, and allow you guys maybe to ask some questions along the way. So you can ask questions in the chat box if you'd like, or you can unmute yourself. This is very informal. Those of you that have attended our Wednesday masterminds know it's a mastermind. So we want interaction, and we're just chatting and talking. And there's something that you do in kvCore that even Aimee doesn't know about. So we'd love everybody to share, right? Like, nobody knows everything. Well, maybe Aimee does. I don't know yet. Aimee's like, no. All right. So, and this is recorded. So if you need a recording of this or know somebody that would like it, I'll get it off to you guys. And so will Aimee. Aimee you can find her on Work Chat, by the way. So you can see her name underneath of her. If you ever want to, you know, chat her a question, I'm sure she'd be happy to do that. And of course, we are live streaming too for those that might be watching there. So I'm going to give you capabilities to share your screen if you want to. I don't know if you're going to do that at all, Aimee, but let me just get that so that we can do that. All right, that should be set up. And then you can go ahead and unmute yourself and just maybe give a little background on yourself and where you are, and how long you've been using kvCore, and anything else you want. And we're just going to let you take it away. And don't forget, you guys, chat in the chat box. Where are you from? Where do you service clients? So that you guys can get to know each other and give each other referrals. That's something that we want to do at the beginning of each of these meetings. So don't forget to do that. All right, Aimee, you are muted. So unmute yourself when you can and have you take it away.
Thank you for that, Gary.
You are welcome. There you are.
You know, I apologize to everybody up front. I'm going to put kind of this blanket statement out there and just say, you know, the folks in my area, I have not been on Zoom all that much in about the past year or so. And boy, you sure forget how to use all of this stuff when you're not using it regularly. So my apologies for that in advance. Like Carrie said, Aimee Derylo, I'm in the suburban Chicago market, and love referrals. So definitely send them my way if you have anybody that's looking for Chicago. But locally, and this is what I had mentioned to Carrie here a couple of weeks ago, locally, we've put together an Agents Helping Agents group. And that doesn't necessarily have to be EXP, but you know, that's kind of our core foundation here. And this is something that I've been bringing to our local group, because what's become apparent is that there are a lot of people who don't realize what they have. And so basically, when I put this together, I said, my CRM can do what? Because I think so many of us are accustomed to coming from, you know, and this is going way back to like the new pandas of the world, where, hey, I can set it up to send an automatic e-greeting for a birthday or an anniversary. Or maybe I can do something that sends out a newsletter. Well, if that's what you think this is going to knock your socks off. Super excited for what this can do. Let me do this. So basically, in the very violent orange that apparently is showing up on my screen right now, sorry about that retina searing there. But basically, talking about kvCore capabilities, what we all want to know for this is, how does this help you build a business? And, you know, like I kind of put here, the bricks that go into anybody's business. And I kind of boiled it down to these 6 areas that we need to be focusing our attention on very regularly. And one is, you need to be able to present your brand. You need to be able to find new leads, convert leads to clients, communicate with your sphere, market your properties, and analyze your business. Now, obviously, there are a number of other things that we do, but you know, most of them kind of fall within one of those silos or another. So when I think about the capabilities of kvCore, I'm bringing that in mind, and I'm going here and I'm thinking about what are the different things kvCore can do to help us with those. So for presenting my brand, we've got our web and IDX section. For finding new leads, we have Lead Engine. Converting leads to clients, we have a marketing section. We have Smart CRM for communicating with that sphere. We have marketing your properties. We have a listings section that you can boil down to. And of course, business analytics for analyzing your business. And those are all parts of this same system. And I know that sounds like, yeah, okay, great. But what I want to do is I kind of want to do this little overview for everybody that gives you a sense of what does each of those things mean, because it's all well and good for me to sit here and tell you, but it's better for me to be able to show you. I have my actual kvCore up in the background, but I did not see it on my screen share, so I might have to, like, you know, jockey around here a little bit. But I did put some screen share stuff here in my actual presentation. First stop, when you're logging into kvCore, and actually let me back it up there. Would everybody put in the chat, are you actually using kvCore yet? And I will wait and see what you say.
I can't wait to see.
All
All right, we have one yes.
right, Tasha, good. And
Barely.
Lisa, this
That's
barely
where I am.
is a lot of people right now.
Okay,
So
Brent, yeah, you're not
good,
quite
not
there
fully
yet.
onboarded yet. Good. You know,
Okay.
I think I wanted to get a little bit of a feel for where we all are kind of starting this path. And what it looks like here is where most of the people I've been talking to are. And that is, gosh, I opened up this thing and I looked at it and it looked super overwhelming. So then I kind of just stopped because I don't have time for that right now. Well, I've got some really, really great tips for how to work in the actual learning of the program slowly over time, and to see what you can do. It's you know, I like that. I feel I have a fueled up Ferrari in the driveway, but don't know how to drive it. It's exactly right. So basically, when you're coming in and you're entering your garage, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to kind of step back and look at that Ferrari because it's a beaut. Your first stop is going to be your dashboard. So when I'm looking at my dashboard, what you're seeing here on your screen is what mine looks like when I log in. So you're going to see a few things here. So dashboard. Here, I'm going to go over and show you, here's where a lot of your settings live. There's a smart number that we all have. That's where you're going to be able to find it. Connections to your website and your profile. And these are all things that we're going to want to be able to set up when it's time. And this is the very, very first thing we're going to be able to do is like get in there and really make it your own. So we can talk in detail about that. I'm happy to come anytime everybody wants, if we want to do actual like little workshop sessions on any one of these things. But just for everybody's reference, this is where you're going to go and you're going to find things like, you know, how to set up everything about you that's feeding into your website. So be aware of that. Additionally, we're going to have some other things here that for some reason my screen is frozen. There we go. Letting it go. So these are screen recordings, basically showing you what's here. There are widgets at the top. There, you're going to see, hey, gosh, look, I have 4 notifications. Those are my calls that I have not done yet today. So it's reminding me, hey, guess what? You have to do calls. When I click that and I scroll down, here are the people that I need to call. So not only is it telling you you have to call people, but it's telling you who you want to call. Oops. And you know what? I skipped ahead there. It's telling you who you want to call. And guess what? It's not just a list. It's actually based on who's been interacting with your system, who's been interacting with your website. So there are going to be a core list that you're going to set up and say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm reaching out to my sphere once quarterly. And it will factor that in, but then it's also going to overlay all of the interactions that are happening from your kvCore. And that's if people are in there, they were a new lead, they were looking at property, and you're going to get an update on that and say, hey, you might want to reach out to this person because they were actually active on your website last night and they looked at these 5 properties and they even favorited one. So it's giving you kind of that guidance where I was always maybe a little weaker in the area of making sure that I was getting to that. So super helpful to be able to have a little bit of guidance. You can set it for whatever level of nagging you want it to nag you or not. You can say, I don't want any of this to happen at all. So you're cool. But it's one of the helpful things that it does do for you. As we go on, and we'll take a look and see. And it's starting over again. So my apologies for that. Let's see here. So we went through, we saw who we're going to call. We don't have any tasks set for today, but we do have tabs down here that can help you track all the activities, calls, tasks, your calendar. If you want to link it up, that's going to come in a second here, but it's showing you, this is what my dashboard looks like when I've got people who are looking at property. So I get to see what's happening. Oh, wait, there's a new lead. Oh, wait, here was a text conversation with a potential client of mine. So there's a lot of really good stuff that helps just in the general management of your business, not just strictly CRM stuff, but really being able to kind of like plan your flow. You can connect it to your calendar here. And you can also get a perspective of like, who's in your business? What's your pipeline look like?
Aimee, really quickly, like all of those people that are searching on the website, they could be coming organically. They could be coming because you posted about a listing on social and they came to your website. You could, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you're working with an active buyer and you could get them set up on your website so that they can search on your website instead of going to Zillow or realtor.com, right? So there's a lot of different ways that people could be searching on your website. And then this is the back end that you can see who is that correct?
That is 100% correct. And, you know, I've got sections for each of these that go into kind of, you know, working with the sellers and working with the buyers and things like that. But I think that's exactly right. This is kind of your at a glance, what's going on with all of the people that I'm connected with. And it's really helpful to be able to just know, as you said, oh, somebody's up to something. I might want to think about calling them or reaching out.
Yeah, that's how we can call people at the right time, coincidentally.
And it's so funny. I will tell you, Carrie, it is, it makes me smile every time I reach out in that instance, or even, and I can talk about this in a little bit, my system automatically reaches out, and it sounds like it's me reaching out at exactly the right time. And people are always like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you. And it's wonderful. You've got like this immediately teed up for a great
That's
conversation with
right.
them that said, you know, I was thinking about you too, was
Must
thinking
not be
about,
a
you know,
coincidence.
it must be fate.
Gotta love technology. Really quick, there was a question, and I don't want us to forget these questions. Vanika said, how do we know what our website address is?
Back to, you know what, and I'm going to
Or
tell
will you
you
get
that,
to that?
well, and I did. It's one of those that I'm going to back it up here a little bit because
Okay.
these are actual screen shares from me doing this, so I can put it in case my kvCore failed, which apparently it is not happening on my background right now. So, all right, I'm going to freeze it right here.
Okay.
So I up in the right hand corner, and you see my first name, and there's a pull down menu. If you pull it down, you're going to see the first is a phone number, and that is just the smart number for our entire area.
Okay.
We'll talk some about that too, but I have not done a unique smart number for myself yet. I did have it at my last brokerage, and there's so many interesting marketing programs that you can do with your own, but you can also do them with this smart number as well. So anyway, we can talk about that and cover it, but this is where you would actually find your smart number. There's where you're actually going to have your email address that's associated with this. And then finally, you're going to see here's my my website. So you'll know it's aimeederylo.exprealty.com. Well, I actually have a vanity address that points to that as well. So some of my stuff you might see as askaimee.co.
Right. So you can go to a GoDaddy or something like that, and you can purchase your own unique URL and point it to your EXP website address. If you didn't want it to be your name, it's probably your name, you know, .exprealty.com is probably what it is. However, your name is written based on if it's a common name or something might be looking a little bit differently, right? But you can point others and as many domains as you want. So if you've got TwinCitiesHomesForSale.com or, you know, your name.com or whatever it is, you can point it here. So for those of you that there was a few people that asked that question, you can do that, or you can just use what you have here.
And let me tell you, you know, and I don't, go ahead. I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but there are two different things. Like I don't actually pay kvCore for a vanity address. Basically what happens is, you know, I have mine registered through GoDaddy, like Carrie mentioned, and I just have it pointing. So basically if somebody goes in and types askaimee.co, it's going to point to this. And eventually when they're on my site, it's going to show Aimee Derylo, exprealty.com. But when they type in whatever it is, then they're still going to get to the same exact place.
And that's why if you wanted to market it, right, you could, then you just, that's because then you can mark askaimee.com. It's easier to market. Yeah,
exactly. Which is how I market myself in the area. So it made sense for me to have something like that. If I really wanted to take it a step further, kvCore in their marketplace does offer vanity addresses so that even when you land on my site, it's still going to say askaimee.co. So, you know, you have that option as well. If you really have a strong website brand in your area that you don't want to lose by having somebody come to it to just some exprealty.com address, this is a way to do it. And the option is very much there for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of step forward just a little bit off of our dashboard. And I'm going to show you part of how we present our brand. And that's our Web IDX, which we were kind of just starting to talk about a little bit there. And basically, I wanted to show you the sorts of things that are available. And these are probably on your website too, if you are using the kvCore website. but I've gone in and I've actually done some customizations on some of these. So you'll see, as everything freezes up on me again, there we go. Property search is the same. I've gone in and I've changed, and basically I've changed the title of free home valuation. That used to be seller, or you want to sell a home, but basically that's what most people are looking for when they come in. And here's what that looks like. It's already in your website too. They can get a free home valuation. You can also customize things to show agent profiles. So be able to put whatever you want. If you got designations, tell you a little bit about myself, et cetera, et cetera. We all have that sort of thing on there too. We can feature our agency listings. And so that'd be EXP stuff that's in our area. And then also a section for your testimonials. And I know there's a lot of people who have testimonials in a lot of different places. I highly recommend actually putting them here on your kvCore, because that will help you actually with search engine optimization. It's going to be able to see that. So there's a contact. And then finally over here, you see something that's called private listings. That's actually a custom page that I've gone in and put, and you can put in all kinds of custom pages. And this is basically something that is connecting with a landing page I've done that says, hey, where are all the homes? Oh, I backed up a little too far there. Where are all the homes? And do you want to take part in, I've got a service locally called ZenList, which helps give private listing information to the buyers who are in complete panic about finding anything. So I'm getting leads that way too, and driving them to my website. And once they're on my website, now they're captured in my kvCore database. So now I can keep track of whatever activity they're doing. It's a really very it's a very sophisticated system, I think, in being able to help you hold hands with people that sometimes you have a lead, sometimes you don't even know you have a lead. And this is actually a system that's going to help you do that. A couple other little bells and whistles here. And again, this is just the standard website. So I've not done anything. So basically you can go in and you can change backgrounds. Here I've gone in and I've added in some drone photography of some of the parks that are in our area. And my video is looking a little choppy right now, but basically having something that's a little bit more customized to the area where you sell is really very nice and helpful, and really kind of roots everybody where it is. Not to mention that all of that footage, anything we have in terms of photography, video, it's geotagged. And I don't want to talk over anybody like into a tech hole here, but basically anytime I'm putting footage that is from my local market on my local website, that's helping me rank higher with Google, because they actually, all of the video and all the photography has tags on it that says, where was this shot? So now I've got local video on there, and that's really going to help with my rankings. So there's a whole lot of cool stuff that we can do with our website without ever paying a cent. Now, if you go back onto your kvCore in the marketplace, there's all kinds of bells and whistles that you can add for money too. And you can really think about, like, what do I want to do? Do I already have a WordPress website? And do we, plugins for that, so that we can still do all of the lead capture from your WordPress site and bring it in. So it's actually really robust in that regard. Talking a little bit about finding leads, finding new leads. And this is one that I think is something that I'm most excited about personally with kvCore, because you know what, there are a gazillion CRMs out there that can help me manage and track and do all that stuff. There aren't as many that actually help you do lead generation. And they do lead generation for free, not costing you a dime. And this is part of lead engine. So if we go down here and we take a look, there's all lead engine tools. And there's going to be a whole laundry list of things that are going to be in this for lead engine. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like fussing with the chat boxes and stuff like that too, to try to make sure I can see what I'm looking. So you can create landing pages, and that is something that I think is probably worth doing a whole section on itself, as well as squeeze pages. And you see that these icons here for these different areas is blue. We're going to see some further down the list that are green. Green means it's a paid access, thing. Blue, it's totally free, or it's mostly free, and maybe there's an add-on here or there that you could pay for, but you don't have to. So landing pages are completely free. Most people, if they're not super into this, don't necessarily know what a landing page is. A landing page is similar to a website, except for it's just a single page. If somebody goes there, there's nowhere to navigate to. It's just a single page that asks for their contact information. And that's typically in exchange for something. So, for instance, I set up a landing page that is connected with that custom page on my website saying, hey, where are all the homes in DuPage County or Downers Grove, which is my area? Want access to a private list? Sign up here. And so basically now I've created that landing page in my kvCore. So people enter their email, enter their phone number so that they can access this list of private listings. And now I have their contact information. It's all filtered into my kvCore, and they come into me as a new lead. So now I can actually make some attempts to work with them. It's a really nice way to customize what you want to bring to clients to try to market yourself. Even easier than that is IDX squeeze page. Squeeze pages are, I believe the name actually refers to you're squeezing the lead into your website. So basically, I can create a squeeze page that says, hey, you want to see a list of everything between $300,000 and $500,000 in Glen Ellen, Illinois? Click here. And you can post those on social media. You can send those in email marketing. You can use them all over the place because it comes to you as a link. So anywhere you can do link marketing, which is most social media except Instagram. Thanks, Instagram. But even there's workarounds for that too. But this is a way to just kind of put this broadcast message out to the world that says, hey, you want to see everything that was just reduced this in price this week? Click here. And people will get an opportunity to take a look. So they're getting something for their click, because that's at the root of all of it. We have to give them something for their click and bringing them into our kvCore system. And then we can set them up on some of our marketing systems, which is going to come next. So it's good to know that these things are here. I want to talk about all of them. There's clearly not enough time to talk about all of them, but those are probably these top three here. Call and text capture is another one that can be on every bit of collateral you ever put out there, where you put a smart code on all of it, and it comes directly into your kvCore. So even if it's the same smart number that 1,000 other people in your entire state are using for EXP, if it came through under your call and text capture number, that lead's going to your kvCore. And that's a question that I get a lot from people about smart numbers and how is it that we can all have the same smart number, then how does the lead actually find us? There's such sophistication in the way the artificial intelligence works with this thing that it's mind-blowing, actually. So basically, you're going to be able to get call and text capture. So if you send out a postcard, for instance, or if you wanted to put a rider on a sign that was in front of a place and said, hey, ask Amy to this number, and then it's going to give them a reward of sorts, similar to what we do with the landing pages and the squeeze page. So it's always a, hey, I'm going to offer something. They're going to click back, and now they're in my system. I will tell you that I've actually only been at EXP for 2 months now. I actually did a huge purge of my kvCore. I was actually at about 1,500 in there. I know you probably saw on my pipeline was like, 400 or 500 somewhere in there. And I did a huge purge of some of them that I know are dead. So kind of cleaned everything out. But what will happen is if you start using these 3 on the top on a regular basis, you're replacing Zillow leads. You're replacing, opposite, you're replacing all of those things, and you're doing it for free. And that blew my mind initially when I'm coming in here. And I said, boy, I'm not sure that that's going to possibly be true. Well, it is. It is, because people are actually willing to give their contact information in exchange for whatever it is that you happen to be offering. Now, you just have to go into it and understand that these are still internet leads. And internet leads are, first and foremost, not necessarily always highly qualified. You have to qualify them. But secondly, you also have to know that some of them have a very, very long life cycle time frame. So you might be 18 to 24 months out on this. So you have to kind of think of this as the long game. So basically, if you are paying for leads from somewhere at this point, these 3 across the top are going to set you up without having to pay a cent. It's fantastic. Yeah, any questions on that?
Are there any tricks to the trade when you use these 3? Do you find that, what your landing pages are about, or what words you're using, or like what kind of squeeze pages make a difference to get, those leads in? And I'm sure we're going to talk next about, okay, once you get those leads, and they are online leads and they take time to nurture, we need to use the system to nurture them. And we'll talk about that to some degree, I suppose. But like, is it the best strategy to find your different neighborhoods or suburbs around you or counties and be very specific, or maybe create something around new construction or a niche that you have? Is that where you find maybe people are searching certain things that bring them more likely, or do you have any tips on that?
100% what you just said is my number 1 tip. And that is be super specific. So basically, in this world where you're talking about lead gen from the internet, volume is not your friend. Okay. Basically, you don't necessarily want to get 500 leads in and find out that only one of them is qualified for what you're looking for. So as you're putting together landing pages, as you're putting together the different types of squeeze pages, because there are actually 4 different types, by the way, you want to be specific. And Carrie, I love your example of saying, here are new construction homes in Wheaton, Illinois. And basically now you are speaking to the person who is already kind of self-selecting into that category. It's not just going to be, Janet Looky-Loo who's going through here and saying, hey, I'm just going to click that. She's not going to click it and give up her information for something she doesn't really care about. But, but Frank over here, who is in the market looking for new construction in Wheaton, is saying, yes, Gloria, hallelujah, I'd love to see that list, because this stuff can be hard to come by. And so he's going to click and he's going to opt in. And now you have somebody who, fine, may still be 18 to 24 months out in a lead time frame, but they're qualified. And now if you have a constant funnel of all of that coming through, you have a constant, consistent business. And that's basically, that's the lifeblood that we're all looking for right there, is just that sort of constant, consistent business. So that's an excellent question, Carrie, and it absolutely pays to be specific and take fewer leads, but really a better quality of lead.
Because most people, when they're searching for something specific. They're not just generally homes for sale. No, they're saying new construction homes in this suburb or this county or this area, because they want something specific. So that's where we have a greater chance of having them see ours and come to it. And then we can actually service them because we know they're in our area and they're somebody that's serious about doing something. And I think that's why sometimes when you were talking about other services that, go purchase those leads for you, they're becoming so general that, yeah, you might get mass quantity, but they're so general. It's like barely they're looking, but just so enough that, they got in your list now. And now you start spinning your wheels, talking to people that really have no interest in doing anything anytime soon. There's nothing wrong if you collect those, because as long as you put them on some automated drips and so forth, you will probably convert some of them. But we also need to figure out, how do we get the now business? And we don't want to be so distracted by 100 leads. Wouldn't we rather have 5 good ones? Right. Because it keeps us focused and keeps us in revenue generating activities. Yeah.
100%, because it is really hard to be that good for that many people. Basically, it gets into some of what we've talked about in our productivity and what I've talked about with, coaches past. And for instance, I'm putting out a ton more video now. And you're probably all getting kind of like a little taste of my personality. And that's precisely what I'm doing when I'm putting out, is I'm having everybody opt into the type of client who should be working with me, because I've got a lot of energy and I've got a lot of excitement, and I'm sort of tongue in cheek, and this is all going to be great fun. Let's go do it. As opposed to a very, very different, bulldog sort of professional style. So same thing here is, customize the heck out of this stuff, because you are going to then be attracting what you should be attracting. And that's going to help your business. I'm going to skip it forward because you're exactly right, Carrie. The next part that we're talking about is marketing. And what are we going to do? We've got all these leads coming in. How are we going to convert them? And there are various things that are available for marketing as well. So if you go and you take a look at the marketing section, and you're going to see right up at the top several things that are kind of key. You're going to see a settings for your behavioral automation. You're going to see settings for lead validation, and you can also get the mobile app, because you want to be able to have this on your phone as well in case people start responding to you and you need to take over a human conversation. So you see some of these icons are green. Those are things that we can pay for that plus us up. But here's some blue ones. We talk about, kind of our key things right here are going to be smart campaigns, search alerts, and scheduled mass emails. Now, there's of course going to be sections there for other things, birthdays, anniversary, all the standard stuff that a CRM can do that you want to be tracking. But smart campaigns is where the money lives. Okay, so this is basically saying, I got all those really cool leads in. What am I going to do with them? And a smart campaign, and I don't want to freak anybody out with this, but smart campaign is a little like simple computer programming. So basically, I'm going to set up and customize and tell my kvCore, if I get a buyer lead in, and if I've given them the hashtag, they're looking in Downers Grove, Illinois, then I want you to start this campaign. And we can go in and we create a campaign of text messages, of emails, of notices that we need to reach out and call, of various tasks. And you build this entire campaign of soup to nuts, how would you communicate with a client who is a new lead and who is looking for what they're looking for? What communication would you have with that client? And it's going to set it up and do it automatically for you. It's huge. Absolutely love this because of the fact that we can't be everywhere at once. So if I've got a new lead coming in and I am out on a very full day of showings for my people who are relocating and I have 2 days and then they're gone again, I got to spend my time with those people. But it is so amazing to know that I got that new lead and I've already sent them an email. I already reached out with a text that said, thank you so much for visiting my website. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for. And kvCore has been doing this for long enough that even the basic Smart Campaign programs that are offered to you, because there's a library there, and you can choose which campaigns you want. Their campaigns have been A/B tested, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically they'll go in and they'll test which version works better, which words work better, which approach works better. They've been tested so many times that they've gone in and they've really refined how some of this sounds. Back when we were looking at my dashboard, we saw that there was a, it looked like a text conversation that I had with one of the leads that was on there. That was actually initiated by my kvCore. I took it over at a certain point, but she had no idea that there was any part of that that wasn't me reaching out. You know, thank you so much for sending me all of this. I'm on top of it. Let me tell you a little bit about where we are right now. At which point then I jump in and say, oh yeah, but have you seen this and have you seen that? And now it becomes my conversation, but it was started by my system. So when I'm out with those clients on those marathon weekends, I actually am taking care of the ones that are in my system as well. And that, you know, until you've experienced it directly is huge. If you look back at the text conversation that I had with this lead, everything about our conversation leads to the fact I'm her realtor. She never chose me, but you can tell just based on the interaction that we're having. She's not quite there yet. She's still, you know, but when she's ready, I'm her realtor. And all because kvCore helped me get to that point in the conversation with her. That to me is, you know, anytime I can automate these sorts of things where maybe I'm having that same sort of lead nurture conversation with multiple people all the time, why not automate at least some of it? And if there's ever a moment where you're seeing something coming through on your laptop, where you see it come through on your phone, because you're going to install that mobile app on your phone, by the way, and it's on your phone and you see that there's a conversation that started, you can hop in anytime, and you take that over and it's going to change the parameters of what kvCore is doing and you're taking it over. So I absolutely love it. It's probably my very favorite thing about what this system does. And on top of that, it actually learns. So basically, now that lead that came in as new, and I had great interactions, and we've had several great interactions now, the system has now automatically knocked her over to active lead instead of new lead, because she's no longer a new lead, and now she requires a different type of nurture. And there are now campaigns for that as well. So what this thing is capable of is, I mean, I feel like I am still way at the tip of the iceberg, and not even to say what's under the water at this point. There's so much here. It's so robust that I could probably spend the next 2 years doing classes on this alone and still not know everything about it. But it is exciting and it's fun to have that at our access, because it just helps us And whether we're an individual or whether we're a team, it helps us be in more places than one at a time. And, obviously not literally, but it really does. And it gives that sort of presence in your marketplace that you're always there, you're always available. So when you start looking at, my testimonials and they say, oh, she was always available. She was great. I could always get her. Well, you know what? I don't actually answer my phone while I'm out showing clients or whatever, but they still feel like they could always get me. And that is, it's a lifesaver, to be real honest with you. So from a marketing perspective, it's important to know that it can do all of this and that you can go in and you don't have to just use the kvCore library campaigns, as that you can go in and you can create every bit of your own. And I'll use that example of the landing page that I set up that said, hey, you want the private listings in our area? Enter here. So now I've captured them into my system. They're coming in as a new lead. I set up a smart campaign, my own custom smart campaign that says, all right, did they come in on the private listing landing page? And if they did, here's what I want to do next. I want to reach out to them with a text, and I want to reach out to them here, and I want to make sure that a search alert gets set up for them. And I want to make sure, X, Y, and Z, so that all of this stuff is happening in concert with one another. It's really, it's a thing of beauty. Joanne, thank you for being with us. Search alerts, each of these categories, again, is its own class, really. I mean, honestly, and I know I've already taken up the majority of the hour at this point, so I apologize for going super long on this, Carrie, but it's so exciting for me to talk about it because I get really geeked out on fun stuff like this.
I love it. This is huge. I mean, I think we all have to get energized around a tool we have, and it's overwhelming and we don't even know what it can do. And then we don't do anything. And if we hear the things that it can do and we can just pick one of these things to start with, like I say to you guys, every single time you're on one of these calls, if you can just simply say, okay, I need to go make sure all my website is updated today. This is all I'm going to focus on. I'm going to do that. Do I have a domain that needs to point? Do I want to buy one? Let's just get that figured out. And then out of the other things that Aimee shared, the biggest thing is probably setting up a smart number if you want to, or at least looking at the landing page and the squeeze pages. Make a list of the top 5 areas that you service. Maybe there's a really hot neighborhood or an up and coming neighborhood or a new construction neighborhood. Maybe there's different communities that are high demand that people search for. Maybe that you want to do residential homes for sale, in a certain suburb or maybe a county, but just come up with a few of those. Because again, if you try to do everything at once, you're not going to do anything, and then you're going to end up just not using it. So just come up with a list and go, okay, so today this is what I'm going to do. And then over the course of the next week or two, I've got to come up with what are those specific things that I can create a squeeze page or landing page for. And then that's it. And then you can move. Once you start getting leads and that sort of thing, you can start moving into smart campaigns. And I'm going to talk to Aimee and see if she'd be willing to kind of come back and do just one topic at a time for us, just to kind of dive a little bit deeper. And Aimee, I'm going to send you some ideas on that, because I also want to make sure that you, I know you're taking your time, so I want to make sure that we're bringing you value in return. But I think it's great to take one thing at a time, but you also have to be motivated to use what you have. And I think you've done a phenomenal job at sharing the capabilities with us so we can get excited and motivated to now take action. So let's really quickly unmute and just see if anybody has a quick question or two for Aimee as we wrap up the call.
I'm still here, Carrie, and I'm listening, and I have a quick question. Sorry to be so rude and interrupt. Maybe we can start our own kvCore challenge where we challenge ourselves to learn something and say, hey, I'm so excited I accomplished this and I just want to share and how I did it, to get each other excited and motivated. Maybe it's
that would be amazing.
Or whoever, so say I accomplished something and I say, Carrie, I did it, and next month or next week, I'm ready whenever you want me to share. So we kind of
awesome.
motivate each other.
Let's do
I
it.
love that idea.
Thank you. Gotta go.
Bye.
That's
I love
fantastic.
it.
I actually, I wanted to back up and just piggyback on what you're saying there, because this is how I was going to wrap up anyway.
Yeah.
And we can get back to all of the other stuff another time, but I wanted to tell you kind of in this corner, you see kvCore training, and that's on your
Yes.
dashboard. There is Agent Quick Start course. It's actually really good at covering a lot of like these simple how do I. And it tends to be their courses are broken up into generally less than 10-minute segments. So it's bite-sized, it's palatable. You can actually sit down and say, all right, you know what, how do I go in and customize my profile to reflect what I want on my website? And you can go in and you can find just, here's an 8-minute segment here, or, a 7-minute there, and be able to find what you're looking for and do it. And their course start to finish, it's a time commitment if you want to do the whole thing, but you don't have to. You can take your principle of like saying, what one thing or two things or three things am I going to really focus on and I'm going to really get good at? And if that's squeeze pages, am I choosing to put a squeeze page out there every single week to my LinkedIn and to my Facebook, and I'm going to put something out there in an email marketing campaign, and just be able to really focus on getting good at it. That would be my huge recommendation to everybody.
I love it. I love it. Any last questions? I think it's great. I posted in there. You guys can always work chat me in Workplace and say, hey, I'm committing to this. Now you know where to find it in the training. Go watch the 10-minute video, fumble through it, spend an hour, get it done, feel accomplished. And obviously, if you start getting more leads, it's going to push you to the next thing, which is, okay, now I have to get some campaigns going, right? Like it's going to be an organic growth, but you just have to get started. Because it has so much great capability. And then we will talk about bringing Aimee. Aimee, I love your energy and I love your, I love the way you explain it, because you're an agent using it. And sometimes it's just easier to understand for those of us busy, and you understand who we all are here on the call. So you're not just an expert on kvCore, you also sell real estate and you're doing all the things. So I think the way that you explain it resonates and makes it a bit easier. So I love that. So you and I will talk about how we can maybe do some cool things in this group and bring you value, but bring the others value, because I think this is awesome. Tasha, feel free to unmute yourself if you had a question or a comment. Are you still there, Tasha? Yeah, it says I'm asking you to unmute, so I'm not sure why you're not unmuting. Let me just take back full. Oh, wait, let's see. Maybe chat in the chat box if you can, because for whatever, oh, there you are. Are you unmuted now? No? Nope, you're not. I don't know why you can't. I'm asking you to unmute, so you should be able to unmute. Anyone else? Just maybe chat in the chat box, Tasha, if you can. Sorry about that. Thank you, Devontae, for being here. Hopefully you'll take action on something. This is a great system for you. Just one small thing. It doesn't have to take you 10 hours this week, just 1 hour of time if you can do it. That would be what I would suggest. Brent, were you gonna unmute for any reason?
I just want to say thank you. That was really helpful and it looks really interesting. I'm excited to get on it.
Yeah, you'll be on it soon enough. Make sure as soon as you get into the systems, message me if you don't know, but what you need to do, those of you that are brand new, you have to opt in for kvCore. It doesn't automatically happen. So you're going to get into EXP and you're going to update and activate your passport. And then you're going to get into all the technology. And when you get into your EXP Enterprise, which is your dashboard, you're going to want to go into optional services on the left-hand side. And then it's going to bring you to kvCore and it says, do you want kvCore? Do you want to opt in? And you say yes. and then it's going to confirm your MLS, and then you click again. And then within a few days, you're going to get an email that says, here's your kvCore login. So it doesn't automatically happen. So if you get to that place and you want to just make sure, just message me and I'll help you. But I am recording this. So if anybody wants this recording, I wanted to explain it so you could go back and watch. You're welcome, Tasha. Yeah, I don't know why you can't unmute. I'm sorry you can't. There must be some glitch going on, but we're glad you were here, and thanks for joining us all the time. Tasha says, great energy, Aimee. I enjoyed this. And thank you. So, and same thing from Devante. You got lots of good reviews, of course, which I knew you would, Aimee. And so thank you guys so much for your time. Go out there and crush your day. Aimee, you're invaluable to our group. So thank you. And I really appreciate you.
Thanks,
Talk to you
guys.
guys soon.